Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today what I thought I'd be doing is to do a tutorial about how to do the Gollum and Sméagol voice. Now a lot of people have watched my first impressions video and the Gollum and Sméagol voice strikes me as being one of the favourites. It's one that people seem to enjoy. So I thought that from some of the suggestions I've been given, I'd sort of produce this video to show you how I produce this voice, the interpretation I use to produce this voice, and how 3 easy steps in how I do it. Now obviously the Gollum voice is not an easy voice to do, it's very difficult, and a lot of people do different impressions of Gollum's voice, and it's impossible to reproduce the original, because the original is the best. Andy Serkis is amazing at producing this sound, but I'm going to show you how I produce my Gollum voice, which a lot of you do seem to like, so I'll do my best with 3 steps. The first step that I would advise you to use is to really dig into the back of your throat. That is how you produce this sound. It is not a conventional sound. No one speaks like this. No one sounds anything like Gollum. And it's just a noise. It's just a sound. It's sort of like, it's a bit like a cat throwing up. It's like a cat wrenching almost. So you have to really dig out the back of your throat. Like, really like that kind of sound. And that is a really, really good point, is that Andy Serkis based this sound on his cat throwing up. And that is the sound he saw when he did before he did the audition. So you've got to imagine you're producing this sound from the back of your throat, but remember to make it quite a liquidy noise. You've got to make it sound like it's quite wet and moisturised the back of your throat. So one good tip would be either to drink some water beforehand, or kind of to, as disgusting as it sounds, to kind of get the saliva moving in your mouth before you start producing this sound. And it is almost like you've got some kind of phlegm stuck in the back of your throat. As horrible as this does sound, this really does work. And this is one way what I use to produce this sound. Now, as I said, it's not an easy sound to do, but you have to really dig from the back of your throat, like, that's precious. I can feel the back of my throat moving around there, and I know it's difficult, it's not an easy tutorial to do, so really excuse me here, but if you just follow this steps, it might work for you. Now, secondly, the key phrase that I like to use in terms of doing this is is sort of this idea of having a layer of paper in your throat, sort of about here maybe, and just a little hole of air that is peeping out. You've got to kind of imagine that your throat can do that. Obviously your throat can't do that for you, you've got to try and produce that sound. So the Gollum voice is like having a little bit of air. It's not using your full voice, it's using just a little bit of your voice, a little bit, a little section. So you've got to imagine that. You've got to imagine that you're kind of just breathing up a little bit of air, sort of, they'll start it from us. Little hobbitses. You're really kind of bringing that up. And that brings me on to my third point, which is set phrases. Now it's really important to have set phrases when you're doing the Gollum voice. Now it's not easy, because obviously Gollum and Sméagol differ in how they speak. Now you've got the Gollum, the harsher sound, the more kind of step one, the harsher, from the back of the throat, that kind of wetness. You've got the softer Sméagol, no, not master, that kind of softer noise. So that's important to get the variation, get the dynamics between each voice, get the harsher sounding Gollum and the nicer sounding Sméagol, because if they both sound the same, then you're not producing the right impression. It's important to make them different. So there's set phrases to produce that. Obviously, I like to use one, that's precious. It's one of my favourite phrases when doing the Gollum. It's the obvious one. He says the word precious a lot. That is what he's desiring, that is what he wants, Gollum and Sméagol. But it's an easy phrase to use. Another one I used to use is little hobbitses with tricksy force. Like that. And you can always hear then that word, force. I'm also bringing out some kind of a sound, it's like some kind of a horrible sound exploding out, and it's not really any normal sound, it's just kind of like a noise, a thing, it's a being, it doesn't really exist in the world today, but it's a noise, and it's hilarious to do. And I can tell you now, doing this impression in front of your mates, we either have them in fits of laughter, or have some of them completely annoyed. But it's great, and it's good fun, it's a good laugh to do, so please practice an impression nonetheless. So it'd be great if you could send in some videos about how you're doing at it to me, and I'll tell you how I think you're doing, what I think you could improve on maybe. Like I've already said, I can't perfect this voice. This is the Gollum voice, it's my interpretation of it, and I'm trying to show you how I produce it myself, and this is the voice which I'm trying to teach you, but it's obviously not how Andy Serkis does it. He does his own amazing voice, which is absolutely hilarious, man. There's no way I'm going to reproduce the original, but I'm doing my best to produce my own sound. So, 3 steps. Firstly, back of your throat, really digging out, kind of feel like you've got some kind of moisture stuck in there, kind of phlegm. That's how you really produce the Gollum sound in particular, the Gollum sound. Now, step 2, imagine you've got a little bit of air pushing out the back of your throat. You've really got to push a little bit of air, not use the whole voice, not use how I'm using it now. You've got to use a little bit of the proportion of your voice towards doing both the Gollum and the Sméagol voice. And 3, have set phrases to use. Really get set phrases to use, otherwise it's difficult to just speak in normal like Gollum. It's quite difficult to speak in the Gollum voice like this, that's precious. It's quite difficult, and like there, I'm almost feeling my throat kind of tiring up. That is why it's quite important to moisturise your voice, because it's quite a wet sound. So like I said, I hope you enjoy this video, guys. Please subscribe to my channel if you do. I've got lots more tutorials to come, lots more impressions videos. Take it easy.